Good morning, everybody. First off, hello. And second off, I apologize for not being around more. At the same time, I apologize just for not being around and not saying that I necessarily feel that I am responsible and have to be here for every moment of every day for everybody, because that's not my intention of why I decided to do this. And as well, that's not my perspective of saying that I will be here, because I am here. I really am. At the same time, I do have to go through the things that I have to go through in my life as well. And certain things at the moment are leading it to be more of an inner journey at the moment that I wasn't able to share with you guys as I go along, because of some of the beliefs of where the majority of humans aren't necessarily in line with mine. And so I needed to go through what I needed to go through without having anybody have their say or debate or anything on what I was going through, as my journey is very much intuitively led, as I have built up a lot of trust with my guides and teachers, spirit guides, angels, energy, source, higher self, all of that kind of stuff. And it was something that I had to learn over my life, this lifetime and many other lifetimes, but that I needed to go through what I needed to go through, even if other people don't believe in it. And I just wanted to remind everyone that I don't expect you to believe in what I believe in, or is it necessary for you to. It's just more I'm sharing with you my life, the things that I believe, so that you can broaden your perspective or inspire whatever it does in you, or to resonate, reconfirm anything it does for you. So I just wanted to say that lately the energies have been very, very powerful. So whatever you're going through, know that you are not alone and you are not the only ones going through it. There have been some tremendous shifts of energy lately because of the new age of Aquarius that we have come into. And time and everything isn't exactly like what we think. We need to remember that everything is like ripples, and so there's an effect that hits harder and then it ripples out. So the vibrancies and frequencies still do affect, and especially with these super moons and planet alignments and spring equinox and all of these things, the changing of the new year, solar year, lunar year, and then also the changing of an age. Like, we are going through some crazy energy shifts here that we have gone through in past lives and past generations, but we are at the moment at a unique experience, because everything is always changing. Nothing is ever the same. And so while we go through our cycles and have similar patterns, every experience is a bit different. It's just a bit different. It's just that much difference. It just is that way. That's part of the constant in life as well, which I have talked about in other episodes and will continue to repeat in different ways. Thing is, what I've been going through is a lot of, everyone going through this frequency right now, it is a lot to do with past karmas, past lessons, past habits, things that we are letting go and trying to get over. This is literally new beginnings for whoever wishes to, take the opportunity to do so. The energies are here to support you. It's whatever you wish, truly, in this most aligned time. This is a very, very aligned time, and it really has to do with whatever it is that you wish to experience, and that is all there is to it. For me, I have been wanting to let go of so many things that I had made myself become as a human being in many lives, because of the responsibilities that I felt that I had to humanity, that I feel that we all do growing up. As a child, I feel, have a lot of things that we feel that we need to do as preteen, coming into teen, coming into adult, coming into our adulthood, and then our whole lives. And so many of us get lost in that and tend to forget so many things. And I observed so many lives, and I've researched and read about so many lives, about, people's hopes and wishes, about what they ended up doing from their dreams as childhood into adulthood, and how different they were, about things they regretted, about so many things. And one thing I really wanted to make sure about in my life was no regrets. As well, I observed so many relationships, and I was truly seeking what a real relationship was, because all the relationships I had seen while together were not necessarily the true love relationships or romantic relationships that you dream about or hear about. It was very much, I mean, you guys decide what you think about relationships when you see them. I remember looking into, I mean, at that time, well over 40 different relationships. And then since then, I mean, we have seen hundreds and thousands of them. How many of them to you are truly vibrating at that true love, unconditional love frequency? And so these were all things that I learned young and observed young, and so came up with formulas on how to choose better, to be a better version, to try to be the best partner, and to try to work in full communication with a partner. And that led me to an amazing 12-year relationship that I know for sure so many people did not experience in even lifetime relationships what we went through in those 12 years. We were very much integrated and intimate in each other's lives so much in every single way, and we communicated about everything that, I mean, in ways we lived lifetimes of relationships, truly, in our 12 years. And the reason why it ended was because of, it had to do with the levels of where we were at the moment, and what I was okay waiting for. Meaning that, I mean, I could have waited around in the relationship, but it would have been me continuing to be that same version of myself, which was a constant giver. So I was raised as a giver, because that is exactly how my family is. My family is probably one of the most generous givers of people that I know. I mean, there are so many people that give, sure, and it depends in what way you mean. But my family is so giving in every single way, in the material, physical realm, in the emotional, mental, and spiritual realm. They are amazing. And so I was very used to giving, and I didn't realize until the end of my relationship that part of why it ended was because I am an eternal giver. I gave so much that it became out of balance. And that was something that was very hard for me to accept, because how can it be that you can give from so much love and yet it be to detriment? And it was so hard for me to accept, and then to change those things to become more in balance with receiving. And right now, I am still working on the receiving side, and at the same time letting go and forgiving so many things from past. As well, one big one here now is me talking. So for many of those years as well, when I went through my awakening, I know a lot of people don't fully like that term or anything, but it is for sure an awakening, because while I was a very conscious being my whole life since before I was born, and I do consider myself to be one of the more conscious beings from the before I was born all the way up until my awakening, I was blown away that I could still be awakened, because I was so conscious. And yet there is a moment where you do, the awakening is to your super being. It's realizing who you are as a soul being, and realizing who you are as a human being, and then allowing those to come together to be who you are, and just to be. And with that came so much, especially the time that I awoke. I am lucky in ways, I suppose, that I wasn't much before the ripple of when the awakening was meant to happen as a whole big bang before the ripple out, but I wasn't part of like the pre-bang, which, well, I mean, I kind of was, but not. And I do find that as a blessing to me, especially I understand why for myself, was because I am a very sensitive being, and so I can't even imagine having all those years beforehand if I were pre-awakened then. what I would go through, I would probably be way more damaged and having a hard time speaking. Whereas what I went through during that decade of what I was doing, a lot of people were actually having a hard time hearing me, listening to me, and not judging me. I had a lot of opinions thrown at me based on the consciousness and physical world at the time, which was very hard for me, and I actually had a lot of trauma from all of it, which made it hard for me to share easy. And now coming into this, while I have lots to share, I still have blocks there that make it a little hard for me that I'm working through. And one of them, which I didn't realize because it's so deep with my 12-year relationship as I was talking about, and with my awakening with me talking and people in past not wanting me to speak, it created my not knowing my own worth. And this is crazy to me is because I understand the insecurities of one's own worth and what that leads to in teenage years, and that is something that I had worked out very well. And in my relationship, I do know my value, and yet I didn't know my value. And also with this talking and all this kind of stuff, it was still comes down to my worth. And so this is why it's hard, but a great example is I am someone who understands all of these concepts, and I am someone who understands these things, and I do in truth know that I am worth a lot and that I have a lot of value, and yet I also don't know my worth at all and don't know my value. And so that is what I have been working on. And I just wanted to say thank you to so many of you that have said so many wonderful things about how much the things that I say mean to you. And at the same time, I wanted to apologize because I wasn't able to fully take all of that in. I didn't realize that what you guys had meant was how much I did inspire your lives. And I wanted to thank you for that because you're inspiring me and helping me heal those parts of myself that have been so traumatic. I don't want to say that what you said was worth less, because it wasn't. It was more that the people in my life that had traumatized me were very, very, very close ties to me. It was so many close people in my circle. And so their words very much hurt me and scarred me. And I am working through those. And while your words help, the power at which I was basically, stabbed at, tortured at, in all those ways was much harder at that time than, and I was going through so much that I wasn't able to fully open to your loving words. So I wanted to thank you for all of those, as well as apologize for not understanding in the time how much that was needed for me. So thank you. So right now I am still working through that stuff. I do wish to just be able to be free to speak. You have no idea how long I have waited for this moment, and yet there is also divine timing and patience. And while I was ready to just jump out after healing, because it hasn't even been 2 years fully that I have been out of this relationship. It's almost 2 years, but 12-year relationship, 2 years in ratio is still not much. And so I thought I was going to be ready to just jump out and go on to my life, but I am listening to my guides. I am listening to my higher self. And all they have been saying for this last while is that I need patience in the integration of my transformation, of my changing, and to just listen to it all. And so this year is actually meant to be a lot slower paced for me and what I do and everything, so that I can fully integrate back to myself, but as myself now. And I didn't realize that during all that time that I was giving constantly, just how exhausted it would make me. I have been so exhausted, because if you just think about me just giving, that is like a one-way channel of energy. And then I took a break, and that was my first actual break. You have no idea how hard it was for me to stop giving so much, and then to start realizing how much I was giving, and then to start saying and drawing boundaries to where I had to stop saying, I had to start saying no. I had to not allow, and then to forgive myself and not feel bad, because I was always open and giving, always, to whoever. And I mean, I don't want to say that there's a limit, because there's not, but at the same time, like, there is only so much energy. Energy is not created nor destroyed, but there's energy, and it's constantly moving and shifting. And so within that, there is balance that needs to be found. And that's what I've been going through. It's trying to find my balance and also recuperate my energies. So at the same time, I mean, it does take longer because I don't fully listen. I mean, we could all be like the best students and the best everything and fully listen and do things exactly when we're told and say, but I mean, why then is there free will and choice? Why then are we not just living lives that are dictated the way that they're meant to be those perfect lives? It's because it is meant to be free will and choice. It is meant to be choice of experience. And so in that is timing, your timing as well as divine timing. And so some of the things I literally, depending where I wasn't ready for what was to come. And so I would sit with myself and go through the things I needed. Some of it is indulgence of things that may or may not be good for you. And some of it is to allow to choose the things that are good for you. And some of it is just not choosing at all in that time. And that is all dependent on what feels good for you in that moment. And that's something that I have been a huge advisor of, and also support of, is to always choose what feels good for you, because I think that is what's most important in everything. And I feel like that leads you to yourself, because in choosing those things, it allows you to see what it leads to, and if you continue to wish to make those choices, which leads me to, I'm going to be making a video here about choice here very quickly. So anyways, I just wanted to thank you all and share with you all what I'm going through as well. I do want to say that life is changing so quickly right now, and consciousness is raising. So I wanted to thank each and every one of you for wherever you are at in life, what you have been through, and where you're bringing yourself, because all of us are doing the work. The fact that consciousness and frequency is changing is proof of that. The thing is, just over a decade ago, me speaking was barely understood, and people didn't want to hear me. And now, already in a decade, so much is changing. You know, the frequency of change and the ripples happen faster, and the gaps get bigger, and that's also why time is getting faster. I mean, there's so much to it. It's so wonderful. Knowledge is just wonderful. At the same time, it can be overwhelming. So remember that balance. I'm not sure what else to say right here, right now, except for I love you all. I thank you all. I'm so proud of everybody. I can't believe that during these times, how amazing everyone is. What I really want to say was how utterly impressed I am with everybody, because going through this right now, people are so calm and beautiful, and it just proves to you what higher consciousness we are in at the moment, because of where everyone's at and how chill and mellow people are. I am sorry for the ones having a harder time in this, but at the same time, we are meant to go through what we're meant to go through to bring us and take us to where we wish to go, right? So maybe think about that, and, you know, if you can get there a different way, I mean, that's entirely up to you. At the same time, so much love in whatever ways it is that you need to heal you, in whatever ways that it is that you wish. Anyways, I love you all so much tremendously. Life is really awesome, and I am excited to be here more as I cultivate into myself more and more. At the same time, I do promise you that while you're not able to see and I'm not able to share everything I'm going through, I will be sharing. It's just that, like I said in my other videos, some of the stuff I'm going through is not necessarily a good way for people to see at the moment when they don't understand what's happening. And so I will be sharing that stuff, just not for you to see. which is something that would have been really awesome. But I mean, you will see as time goes on, maybe not from me, but from the people that are going through similar what I'm going through, when human consciousness is more ready to receive that kind of knowledge. Anyways, I love you all super duper much. Times, they are a-changing, and they're so beautiful, and so are you. Thank you for sticking with me and being with me. I am here for you too, just so you know. Every moment I am always sending out the most loving of energies in whatever ways it is that you need. And just so you know, I'm learning to receive them too, so, you know.